Dear listener, welcome to a new episode of the Quarter Hour, and today I'm going to introduce you to three brothers who are doing a podcast together. Let's get into it. Three brothers from Perth who host the MacPack podcast, and I've got all three of them at the same time on the same microphone. Hi boys, how are you?
Good, thank you, Wayne. Thank you for having us on, man. Long-time listeners, first-time callers.
Oh, well, appreciate that. And vice versa. I've been listening to you guys on Triple J weekends and started to go down the rabbit hole of who are these guys, where are they from, and trying to get a sense of your podcast and where you started. So why don't we introduce you perhaps in age order? Let's start with you, Jake.
Yeah, I'm the oldest boy, so I'm 29 years old. The boys sort of, I don't know, listen to me to some degree.
Yeah, he's the self-appointed leader.
Yeah.
Yes. As an eldest sibling, I can tell you, yeah, we do self-appoint ourselves as the leader. That's how it rolls.
Someone's got to do it.
And Joe, you're next in line?
Yeah, I'm Joe. So I'm the middle brother. I'm 27, and I guess I'm the sort of the nerd of the show.
Absolutely.
The black sheep.
You're the brains. You're the brains of the
Yeah,
pack.
yeah. And I guess I'm a bit different from you guys. A bit more ladsy. I'm a bit more, but not like that.
Yeah, well, Joe was a veg. Oh, you were vegan for a period.
Vegan, yeah.
And you haven't drank for a long time.
No.
And me and Riley are sort of trying to offset that by doing the exact opposite times two.
Right. Okay. And Riley, there's a bit of a gap between you and Joe, yeah?
That's right. I'm Junior. I'm the 23-year-old youngest brother, and I still live at home with mum and dad. Someone's got to keep them company after
Well, I'm going to ask you about your mum and dad because I think it's an interesting dynamic that you've got three kids all doing the same podcast together and sharing their lives. So let's just, for those who haven't heard of you, how did the podcast start? Joe, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so Jake had been made redundant.
Rightfully so as well.
Yeah.
He was doing nothing.
He had all this time on his hands. He was so bored. And then he came up, he asked me about starting a podcast the same week that Riley had asked
Me.
you about it. Like it happened in tandem without us talking to Riley.
Yeah, I think me and Joe had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Separate to Riley. And then all of a sudden Riley piped in the next day, completely separate.
Yeah.
And said, well, I think we should do this thing. And we were like, oh, did you overhear us?
I was actually at the library studying for my year 12 ATAR exams, which is like our big final exams. And I was so bored listening to podcasts. And I was like, oh, I'd prefer to give this a crack than do any more schoolwork or stuff. And then I ultimately failed the exam quite hard. But we started the pod, which has been great fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was it always the intention that you would do a pod, the three of you together, or did you have a different concept? I know you're into AFL and other sports as well. Were you thinking it's just the three of us is the pod, or were you thinking other concepts?
Yeah, look, initially I wasn't a big fan of having Joe on the show.
Yeah, me neither. I tried to get out of it.
But
You must-
it was very much, it was always going to be the three of us, was it not? It'd be
Yeah,
awkward
yeah.
if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's a big question. Everyone's always like, how do you get along with your brothers? Or like, oh, I hate my...
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, me too.
Monetize.
Would you-
Monetize.
No,
Yeah.
we have fun. I mean, since we were kids, we always hung out with each other's mates. And if it was one person's birthday party, it was almost everyone's. So I think it was just something that we all wanted to do together. We play basketball together and we're in the same team. So it was just like any opportunity to do something together, we were keen.
Awesome. Well, just before we go on, I just want to make sure you guys know this isn't therapy. I'm interviewing you about your podcast. So if you've got any grievances with any other brothers, push those to the side. So the three of you together, is it pretty much an extension of the off-air dynamic? What you guys would be chatting about, bantering about, swapping notes on the socials? Is it exactly that or do you bring different content to the podcast in your real life?
It's very much of the same vein, but we very rarely talk about anything that we've talked about on the podcast. So there is always that surprise element. It sort of started off as being a way that we were going to catch up on a weekly basis. And that has very much continued, but it is always good to have surprises. So I'll ask Riley how his weekend was and he'll go, oh, it was good. And just like leave it at that until the mics are on. And then you actually hear the unraveling of some of these stories.
Yeah, like if one of us goes on a trip or something, you don't hear about it at the time. You hear about it, weeks later because you're like, oh, I just went on this trip for a week.
Yeah.
That's like a couple of months worth of stories that I got to the pod.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. And tell me about Radio Fremantle. So was that the first place that you started, or did you do the podcast first and then get into community radio?
Yeah, we did the podcast for a few years, and then Riley and I did some stuff at RTR for a period. while
Yep.
Joe was, I don't know what you were doing, being a
I was
nerd or
studying for a finance exam. So I didn't
There
have
you
time
go.
to do the radio course, unfortunately.
But then we moved. Then we were like, oh, we got to get Joe involved in this because it's way less fun when it's just two of us. And then so that's when we went to Radio Frio, probably like 2.5 years ago now.
years
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'd done the podcast for like 3 or 4 years, and then we were like, oh, we want to segue this into radio and see how that is in like a live dynamic, and we've loved it ever since.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you find the live dynamic versus the recorded dynamic? What's the difference?
Yeah, really good fun. I really love the radio craft of it all. That's like something that we've very much appreciated. So to be able to do the podcast where that's not as important as sort of being as tight and, I don't know, I guess aware that you are live across whoever's listening. But that's the exciting element that I enjoy the most.
Yeah, I think also like the hot potato-ness of it being live, and if something goes bad, like too bad, you have to just keep going.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you know, where if it's pre-recorded or if it's a podcast or something like that, you think, you know, if you do something bad, you're always in your back of your mind, it's like, oh, we could redo this. But when you're live, I thought it's almost better because if something goes bad, it's easier to like parlay that into something good.
Yeah.
And that tends to usually be like the funniest bits or whatever.
Yeah, I can tell you
it's a
from
lot more
experience.
fun, yeah.
I can tell you from experience on podcasts like this one is that we don't edit at all. Like we definitely are going to include all 3 versions of the intro that we tried to do. Hey, so let's just get a sense of this in terms of like what your parents think. Like there's 3 of you and you're kind of sharing openly your lives, and you've all got different lives and you're at different life stages. But what do mum and dad say? Are they pretty much, I mean, I know Joe's a bit of a nerd and he's got degrees to fall back on. I'm trying to be polite here. What do they think of you doing this? Do they see this as something that you guys can do as a job, or is it just a side hobby?
Yeah, I mean, we all work full time as well as doing the pod and the radio and all that stuff, and they love it. They're probably our biggest 2 fans. I think when we were on Triple J the other morning, we were on air, or it was morning over here, so it was like 3 hours, and then they listened to the whole show and are messaging us through the show on the text line and stuff. And then I get home and they're watching our podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, so you've just like this whole like 5 hours of the morning has been consumed by listening to your 3 sons. And they're like, yeah, love it.
Yeah, and then we went out for dinner that night and it was like, well, they had so many questions, obviously.
Yeah.
They had sort of experienced the time with us without us being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's great. And I think they get to hear stories that they might not usually get to hear because we get to talk about them on the pod. You know, I might have a wild night out and I tell the story to the bros on the pod, and then they get to hear it secondhand as well.
Any awkward moments?
Oh no! Oh no!
Nah, nothing really. I reckon it's awkward looking back because we'll be doing our 300th episode next week, and in doing so, you do start to look back and look like 4 years ago, and you're like, wow, it's like a time capsule because we've done it every week for nearly 6 years now. It's served as quite a time capsule as to like the first time Riley went out drinking with his mates when he was just turned 18, to like 21st parties that Joe hosted here, to all sorts of stuff. Like, yeah, when we got our first stint on Triple J, for example, there's been quite a nice, I don't know, I guess, record of everything sort of taking place. So it's awkward to look back. Yeah, sure.
How did the Triple J opportunity come about?
So we were doing the community radio stuff, and then we had started sending around our demos and that sort of thing, hoping to mainly just get feedback from people to improve what we're doing. Because obviously, with a lot of the stuff, you sort of do it and then you post it, and people might like it. You know, it's on radio, they might like it, but you're not really getting like
Tangible
hard feedback.
Yeah.
And even like we have, you know, you ask a mate who listens, they just say, yeah, it's good. You're not getting any feedback. So we had some great people in radio give us feedback, and then we sent it to some people at Triple J. They liked it.
Then we did like a 1 hour show, which was like as if we were on Triple J, how would we sound? And they're like, yep, pretty good.
Yeah, and then just lots of demos. We did a lot of demos last year, so sort of mucking around and seeing what the I guess the Triple J, we sounded like doing like a Triple J sort of style show.
Yeah, great.
No,
Well, I mean,
it's so much fun. We love it.
and the pod sounds that way too. You know, it does sound very natural. And I know, Jake, you take more of the sort of the hosting role. Does your marketing kind of experience and that come into it when you're thinking about content? Like you're sitting there going, okay, not only am I just having a bit of a banter with the bros here, but I'm going to try and think about what this looks and sounds like beyond the content.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very strategic in the sense that like everything that we put together sort of has that. But I do also just trust that the boys, I imagine that they're very entertaining. Like everything they're going to bring to the table is going to be quite entertaining. So it is always a very loose structure, and you only ever need like one word here from Riley to be like, all right, I'm going to talk about this, and you're like, okay, that's enough of me to be. It's enough for me to go. Okay, he'll be fine.
Yeah. And video's a big part too. Joe, you sort of handle that more, don't you?
Yeah, I handle the YouTube.
Well,
Riley
that's
does
video.
the bulk of yeah.
Yeah.
But Riley does the bulk of all the
socials,
the TikTok, the social.
Stuff.
He color grades and sometimes the YouTube video for me if it doesn't look good. He keeps me.
So basically, Joe, Riley's doing your work for you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, he's my supervisor.
Yeah, I cut up the TikToks and stuff. I studied like film and TV at uni, so I've always been in editing softwares and stuff. So I love doing that stuff and creating like a 10-minute long story and then cutting it into 1 minute is challenging, but usually get the best bits, and that's what resonates the most.
Yeah, I studied math at uni, so I help out with the taxes.
So Joe's head of procurement.
Joe does all the
Well,
audits.
it is interesting because I was reading your degree is actual. Is it actual science? How do you say it? Like an actuary.
Actuarial science.
Yeah.
Like an actuary. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even say it. So good luck to me trying to understand what it is.
Yeah.
And Jake, the
He
community
doesn't come
aspect.
up a lot.
I wouldn't have thought so.
There's not much actuary stuff that we've ever discussed over the last few years.
Doesn't
Maybe
sound
next
like it. And Jake, tell us about the pack. So they're your listeners. Have you deliberately or strategically decided to create a community aspect with the pod, or has it just come about by accident?
Yeah, I think it's probably just grown over time. We've sort of sensed that people enjoy being a part of the pack. Everyone that listens to the show, we have a really, really supportive community, which is always pretty shocking because, well, not shocking, but we're just hanging out. We're just brothers hanging out, and the fact that other people will get the opportunity to listen in is it's really nice to think that they see some sort of value in basically eavesdropping on our conversations, which is nice.
Yeah, and the best feedback we get is when people say, when they listen to us, they feel like they're our mate hanging out with us. So it's kind of like we're all part of the pack. Like there's always a fourth member sitting there listening.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice. And you get feedback from all parts of Australia and around the world. Where are you most surprised to get people listening from?
We've got a lot of fans in Ireland. We have Irish heritage, so Dad's family is all from Ireland, and I'm always shocked about how many cousins and whatnot are commenting or sharing or messaging us and being like, "Love listening."
Yeah.
We've never met them, but like they know a lot more about us than we know about them.
Yeah, awesome. And tell us about your plans for the pod. Like, do you think this is a pod that you would like to keep going? Or if someone walked up tomorrow and said, hey, we'd love you to do breakfast radio somewhere, that's kind of the aim. How are you seeing your future direction with this?
I think we'll always do the pod regardless of what's going on, because I mean, we've been doing it for 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
It's kind of good to think, okay, maybe in 20 years, if we do it every week, we can go back and listen to essentially everything that's ever happened in our lives.
Yeah, it's like
which is nice to have. Like, if I always think, like, you know, if one of these guys like died or whatever, it would be really nice to have. Well, I just think like I have hours of us having fun together that I can listen to.
Yeah,
like
I think less about the mortality of my brothers, but yeah, no, like Jake said, it's a cool time capsule to have, and obviously we're keen for any opportunity if we can do this more and more. I mean, it's just hanging out with your brother, so it's so much fun. But yeah, we just want to keep doing it.
And at the moment, we do a bit of radio, and then we do the podcast as well. And while they are probably similar, there is definitely differences to them.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to like know what kind of content would suit better for the podcast and what would be better for broadcasting to Australia as well on the airwaves.
Nice. And so basically, I think that Joe and Riley, you guys are hanging out, and Jake is basically doing funeral hacking. So if either of the two of you die, then you've actually got a time capsule of stuff. Is that how you're
essentially? Yeah.
Nice. Hey, what do you guys listen to? What's your inspo? I know you've had Will Anderson on the pod. You've had Tim Blackwell on the pod in past episodes. But talk to us about the radio or the podcast that you listen to. What do you derive some enjoyment from?
I think like many people in Australia, Hamish and Andy were very much what we listened to growing up. And then, I don't know, me and Riley in particular really listened to a lot of the Kate, Tim, Marty period that Tim was on Nova. And obviously we still listen now, but there's just like this time capsule of the years from like, I don't know, 2015 through to like 2020, 2021.
Yeah, anyone who's big fans of Tim Blackwell, if you go on the Ricky Lee and Tim feed on Spotify and scroll all the way back, you'll find shows from 2016.
Yeah, and we still
Wow.
listen to them to this day. Like I listen
Yeah.
to them on the weekend.
Yeah, it's so good. And then also Jake found some, like 8-hour long bits of audio of Hamish and Eddie shows from when they were doing their happy hour in 2014. So I've been listening to lots of them as well.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And Tim listens to the pod, so he'll be happy for the shout out too.
Oh, there you go.
Hey guys, thanks for coming on the pod. Good luck with everything that you're doing. As I said, you're on Triple J. What's the time slot for Triple J? It's different for the West than everywhere else. What is it?
Yeah, so we're nationally from 11 till 2 when we are on the weekends, and then we're doing a lot of stuff overnight still. So that is, what time is that? I don't even know.
It is
11 till
11 p.m.
2.
till 2 a.m.
Also, it's still
yeah.
11 till 2. How did
Yeah.
I forget?
They love us on the 11 till 2 slot.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll mix up whether or not it's AM or PM. We'll just hope we rock up at the right time.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And as anyone in radio or podcasting will tell you, it's all about the flying hours. So keep up as many shifts as you can get, whether it's at Radio Freo or on Triple J or anywhere else you might pop up. And congratulations on getting to 300 episodes. A lot of podcasts don't get past 3. So you got to getting to 300. That's fantastic. And good luck with everything you're doing in the future.
Too good. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
mate. Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks for having us.